Under this trend, the professional players have been making Annie and Anivia share the same beginning.
The same first character, so when you type it in Korea, they both come up. But the Anivia bans have been pretty common ever since Annie came onto the scene. Now, we in the past have seen teams not pick Annie when the Anivia has been banned as a form of manners, because everyone knows that it wasn't Anivia that was supposed to be banned right there. So instead, Elise is up. But I think the Annie ban was smart. I don't know if CJ Blaze is going to respect the Anivia ban.
We'll see. All right, and then Caitlyn being picked up for Bang. No big surprise there. All right, well, Blaze thinking about that Annie. I think they may go with the manner here, seeing that it hasn't been insta-locked. I think Lustboy's very torn right now. He's like, well, I really want to play Annie, coach.
Yeah, this is an interesting conundrum. We've both seen it not picked and picked, so
there they go.
They're going for the Annie. I have to say,
I mean,
you mess up your bans. That's your fault.
I mean, it is. They rushed it in the very last second, so can't blame Blaze for taking Annie with that chance they had. Otherwise, I mean, even with Annie, it's all pretty standard picks so far.
Indeed, Blaze really hasn't shown anything too interesting. Probably Lucian going to be the last pickup for Emperor right here, trying to go even in a Caitlyn lane. It's typically the pick you would see in this situation. Easy Hoon going to actually blind pick that Ziggs. A little bit of an interesting pickup right there, but a safe one, relatively speaking. And Horo may be taking over the Evelynn. Of course, over his career, he has been a pretty strong Evelynn player. One of the champions that he is most well known for.
I agree. And Ziggs, not a huge surprise for EZU. Like you mentioned in their first match of Masters, Monty, EZU known for a player who loves kind of zoning mid-champions like Orianna, Syndra. He goes for those high power later, but in lane you can zone with their abilities. And Ziggs kind of fits the bill. Not as much nuking power as, say, Syndra, of course, but it's hard to match that kind of power.
Well, there's not a lot of kill potential either, because all Korean Ziggs take barrier in lane, so it does make it very difficult to make plays on the mid lane and be able to finish somebody off. They pretty much strictly farm. In Korea, Ziggs is for poke, he's for siege, and he's for clearing side lanes with his ultimate. They don't use him as a high kill potential mid laner. Now, Ambition may be getting Gragas here, a champion that he's been pretty darn strong on. I'm a bit surprised that we're not necessarily going to see his LeBlanc, just because Ambition's LeBlanc and his ability to play Assassins has gotten just better and better and better.
Oh, he goes for the Orianna.
Well, they're going for the Wombo combo. They've got a lot of AoE CC with Annie and Orianna. They'll be wanting to fly the ball in on Shyvana. So a pretty standard composition coming out of CJ Blaze. Safe lanes across the board. They will have to be worried from a little bit of early pushing and aggression from Marin's Renekton. But other than that, they will grab Zyra, a support champion that's seen a lot of revival here in Korea, looks like, and that will give them a lot of long-range poke. But no, Wolf may be going with the comfort pick.
We'll see. We've seen Zyra come up a little bit again in Masters. Wolf also being one of those players. Nami, of course, Nami Caitlyn has been a very standard support partner for Caitlyn ever since Nami was released. Looks like he wants to settle on that champion.
Well, taking a look at the lanes so far, as Zyra actually gets locked in, either way, that's going to be a high-pressure, high-poke lane for SK Telecom T1S. And CJ Blaze should be going pretty much a farm lane in mid, and then they are probably going to get pushed in top and bot early on. So a lot of pressure on Daydream to make some plays right now. Conversely, Horo will have a lot of time to farm, and it's a mixed blessing on Evelynn, because it's difficult to duel other junglers as Evelynn, and you can use that invisibility to get behind people.
Right away here on Summer's Drift. Wow, here the crowd's just going nuts. They're trying to power each other out, cheering for their team. And it will be T1S on the purple side of the map with CJ Entus Blaze on the blue side.
Well, coin start here from Lustboy. He really likes to rush the Talisman of Ascension, because CJ Blaze, they want to team fight as quickly as possible with this composition. And it's just Lustboy's style, loves those boots of mobility, loves that fast talisman so that he can be the aggressive engager on his team and have Flame and Orianna Ambition follow up here. So they will play a little bit more of a passive early game. Of course, Wolf taking that Doran's shield, looking to get a little bit more in your face with the bruiser item early on.
Both supports, of course, taking Ignite, which has been very common nowadays. So Wolf going to try to use that to his advantage also. Top lane, they've already spotted each other. Just everyone keeping eyes on their counterparts across the map.
So, yeah, looks like Lustboy, ooh, this is some interesting map movement right here. We may have a 2v1. We will have a 2v1. From Emperor and Lustboy, this is a bit of a surprise. But they're going for an early invade right here. Meanwhile, on the other side, Marin is going for a fake leash, actually, but doesn't actually get anything done right there. And Bang and Wolf hitting the bot lane, so it's maybe a bit interesting. The jungle pathing from Daydream is not going to allow him as fast of a gank here as starting at his red would have, so it is a bit dangerous. They're also going to get eyes on him as they go through the river. Ward placed there, seeing Daydream as he goes to his blue. Wolf and Horo moving across, doing a red steal of their own.
Some very good wards from T1S, allowing them to catch all of that.
Daydream is definitely going to want to dive here, however. You can see Marin already going back this early on in the game. He's extremely concerned about this dive, so he actually is just going to get out of there early, pick up another ward, and place it down right at the 310 mark when Daydream should be hitting level 3 off this camp, so he will be able to detect this early on. Now let's see what Horo's response is going to be. It looks like he also wanting to go for a dive here in the bottom lane.
Yep, Horo's prepared, and like you said, Monty, impeccable timing by Marin, and also his just knowledge and sense of the game, allowing him to pick up that extra ward. He puts it down.
That was actually really smart of him to go back at that time. He wasn't going to get any experience off that creep wave anyway. Flame already forced off the wave.
Flame is going to get away, but has to waste a lot of time running away. Same thing going to happen to Marin, however, as Daydream jumps onto him, gets the red buff slow. Marin just going to walk out of that.
And due to these turret changes, that tower's going to go down a lot faster in bottom than in the top lane.
That's going
a lot
down
faster.
Before the 4-minute mark. Blaze should be able to respond with this tower. It's just, of course.
Well, how hard is SKT1S going to push this, though? Are they going to go for Dragon? Are they going to continue to put the pressure down onto the Tier 2? Looks like they are not moving. Flame back in lane now.
All right, the 3 members of T1S still in this bottom, and they're just going to keep poking away at this tower. The Tier 1 at top finally goes down for Blaze, and Blaze needs to respond very wisely here, Monty.
This is a bit of a dicey situation. They're not actually pursuing this, so actually SK Telecom T1S may be able to pick up 2 towers right here. Of course, that Zyra Caitlyn composition, incredibly efficient at killing these turrets.
Finally, we see Daydream going back home, but it's going to be too late. 2 towers lost in the bottom lane for Blaze, and Flame does get caught shortly. He's going to get out. Now, this in the past hasn't been a big issue for Blaze. I mean, they just let Flame farm up. And
Correct.
Like you said, Monty, this team composition, they were meant to farm anyway, but we'll see how S takes advantage of this.
The other thing that they didn't do right there, and probably would have been a better idea for SK Telecom S, is to go ahead and shove that lane a little bit more aggressively into the bottom right there, because what it's actually happening right now is the pressure is still pushing towards the second turret, or the inhibitor turret rather, of Blaze, and now Flame is going to be able to freeze this. So that is not what you want to do. You want to shove the wave all the way into the turret, especially when you're relatively safe down there. Yeah, this is not good. This is actually really not good. That was a big mistake by SK Telecom S.
And some part of me feels that maybe Blaze expected this to happen. This is what they wanted to take away, as Flame has done this for so long now. It's just like his home right here in the bottom lane at the second turret, freezing the lane and picking up the most CS in the game.
Right, now we see Renekton, Zyra, and Caitlyn moving up. putting some pressure on this tier 1 turret in the top lane, but they'll be met by 3, and with the ranged wave clear from Elise, they're going to have a very hard time actually pushing this tower. And Flame just continuing to farm up right here. He's going to get a big experience and CS lead onto Marin if Marin sticks around.
You saw Flame on your screen there. This is what we've seen throughout Winter of Champions last year, actually, not the most recent one. But Flame just freezing the lane and telling his team when he's ready and giving them all the signals they need to make wiser decisions throughout the map. And we're seeing exactly what you said happen, Monty. The top tower is somewhat safe. Daydream does get stunned by Marin with a flash W. Should be able to get away with an instant flash away.
Yeah, they're trying just to farm up the jungle right now and take it away. Daydream a little bit pinned at that turret, especially since he's a little bit lower right there. He does have a ward over the wall, doesn't get that smite down in time. It is taken by Horo instead. Ambition and EasyHoon going even in the mid lane so far. Flame just continuing to power through these creep waves right there. It's just stuck straight there at the right next to the base.
It amazes me how consistently Flame can do this and just freeze the lane every match this happens at that same position. Doesn't miss a beat. Just one of the smartest top laners we've seen here in Korea. He's so calculating about all his abilities and movements to manage the lane more than anything. All right.
EasyHoon looks like they're trying to 5-man dive. This is a bold play.
Oh, we are going to see EasyHoon joining soon. Marin does take a lot of damage. You just watch that. He actually goes down for first blood to Daydream. Emperor dodges that Mega Inferno Bomb with a nice flash, and that's going to have to push T1S away.
Yeah, this is... At that point, you have to do something because SKTS is missing so much experience and gold because of this freeze in the bot lane, and they can't go down there. I mean, basically, Ambition is easily able to collapse in that situation, and so they don't have a lot of choice besides going on a roam right there. Could they have waited a little longer for EasyHoon? Sure, but Marin's getting desperate. He's 20 CS down right now. Yeah, he has a pickaxe, but going for Tiamat.
Oh, Lustboy gets caught. Should be safe with a nice early flash. Doesn't take more damage from Zyra's plants.
Conversely, Horo has actually been able to get a lot more farm. However, Daydream with that kill is going to be up approximately in terms of gold, and he hasn't fallen behind on levels either, pretty crucially, because he's been just sitting under turret sharing experience, so he's at least got something. However, this top lane turret getting a little low right now.
Next wave should be it, but we do see Emperor moving right on up, and Daydream is nearby. So I suspect it will be saved for just a little bit longer. We do see the bottom lane finally having pushed out from Flame.
So I'm really concerned about this pickaxe first. They're actually not going to take it right now, instead backing off as the wave hits the tower. Because a delayed Tiamat on a Renekton. Why do you get the Tiamat on a Renekton? It's because you want to have that pushing power in lane to harass Shyvana early. But when Shyvana has so much more armor and HP than you, and also is on 3 levels on Marin right now, that Tiamat is going to do nothing. You need it for split pushing, but Shyvana will still win the duels in the split pushing battle. So Dragon now taken for CJ Blaze, and they will jump out to a lead.
Yeah, very smart timing on that bottom push. Flame knew that he had the levels on. Renekton, of course, had hit level 6 just now, so called for the Dragon. It's level 7 meanwhile.
If there's one thing you don't do, it's give Blaze as a team the opportunity to deep freeze. Like, that just plays into everything that they've always done and have been so consistently good at.
Emperor just going to take small damage, not a big issue for him. Yeah, this was kind of exactly what Blaze was. This was Blaze. You see this movement, you're like, well, that's obviously Blaze playing. I don't need to see the names. And S just gave it to them right here in this first set today in Masters.
That's what's so amazing about Blaze, though, is that they are a team that traditionally has done better when they're behind on towers early.
It's crazy. You know, back in the day when they first started on MIG, they were actually the very fast-pushing team with that Captain Jack Lustboy bottom duo. And
back when Reaper was on the team, though, but by getting Flame, a top laner who just does so extraordinarily well with high amounts of farm, well, that tower is going to go down, so the lead switches just a little bit over to S. But, I mean, the real story here is just the difference in these the top laners is kind of wildly out of control at this point. And now we can see Flame doing what he does, which is, ward up, and he's going to start proxy farming here in order to punish Marin just a little bit more.
Yep, Flame still keeping his lead very well ahead in items and still in levels just a bit. Marin having caught up with that wave, but Flame's going to push this back out or freeze it once again, depending on what the rest of the team wants to do.
Well, actually, I guess he's just going to freeze.
Yep.
Just getting some deep wards down for the hell of it. Dragon not going to be up for quite some time, but they will have some knowledge of the movement on that side of the map. You'll notice, too, the ward locations, one of them in the Wolves and one of them that can see the edge of white right there. And this is because they need to see Evelynn farming that jungle. Otherwise, she'd be totally invisible. So these are Evelynn-specific ward placements.
Yep. Now we do have Daydream joining in mid. The top tower has gone down, so they're going to leave it to Emperor to farm up a bit. Lustboy going to roam back and forth between mid and top. Flame just still doing his thing. Not going to be much fun for a while. We'll visit him when he has like 3 more items.
And 3 more levels up on Marin. Marin, now what SKTS is trying to do is get him back into this game. They keep rotating him into lanes where he can easily farm. Now CJ Blaze, are they going to take advantage of that? They're pushing into the jungle, trying to clear out some of these pink wards pretty aggressively right now. They can dive deep and try and shut down Marin because he is so squishy right now.
Yep, he has no defensive items other than that small Doran shield that he bought at the very start of this game. And we're just seeing a bit of a pause in action. Everyone just farming and rotating on both sides. People going back to pick up items. Both mid laners now do have that Athene's Unholy Grail, so they should have no problem clearing waves.
Yeah, just a lot of wards down early as well. Shyvana now actually just going through the jungle, taking a bunch of camps, the white next, and waiting for Marin to push out a little more before taking some of that free farm. So I guess they're just committed to farming Shyvana to Kingdom Come right now and waiting for that late game where they do have that incredible hard initiation offered by Annie and Orianna.
Yep, and we've seen this work out very well. There's the Ziggs ult to clear. We've seen this work out very well for Blaze. Flame getting farmed up, and Ambition helps initiate with Lustboy, and then Flame just takes like a triple kill, loses no health because he's Shyvana, and he's actually going for a red steal.
Well, why not? I mean, he knows he's totally alone up there. There are 4 members down on the bottom side, and he can take out anybody at the moment, essentially. But I like how Daydream has just been roaming pretty heavily with Emperor and Lustboy. He hasn't been able to get a lot of farm and hasn't equaled Oro's farm, but he has been getting that lane experience, and he's been keeping the dual lane safe so that Emperor can at least get some CS here and stay even. Yes. Flame steals the red, now heads back.
And we're looking at Marin, just kind of seeing what's going on. He spots the blue buff. It's not anything surprising.
Well, Marin has been able to catch up in farm right now due to just kind of rotating from lane to lane. So that's going well, but the vision and information that Flame has managed to get is a little bit superior, but it is impressive that Marin has managed to kind of get back into this game. There were opportunities for Blaze to punish that a little bit further by attacking him deep in the lane, but they didn't take advantage of them.
Well, of course, whenever Marin pushes out, it just kind of leans back to Flame being able to farm that lane up, push it forward. Now Dragon is coming up in a little over 30 seconds. Flame's timing and movement on that will be very crucial for Blaze.
He's got to think about moving right now. He's quickly clearing out these waves so that he can make that rotation. Ping's going down. Pink ward taken out in favor of CJ Blaze. Wolf knows there's a ward in the middle of the river, however, and that'll be a recall from Flame. They will see Marin. In fact, SK Telecom really can't fight this right now because all Marin has is a Tiamat, and Sunfire now done onto Flame. So a team fight with the tanks in that kind of disparity in items is going to be not so easy to deal with.
Yeah, CJ Blaze definitely grouping up for this Dragon. They're going to take out that pink ward first. Ezio trying to put down some poke. Now, Oro's placement here, along with the initiation from Blaze, if they end up fighting at all, is going to be so crucial.
Flame is here now. Renekton rotating down. Again, he is very squishy. And Ambition and Flame will be able to clear out the mid wave with relative ease. Easy Hoon, rather, coming in. Moving on that Flame. Dodges the roots from Zyra.
Flame not really bothered by any of this poke damage. He's getting hit one by one, and it's okay. Clearing plants. Can't clear that ward yet. There's a Mega Inferno Bomb. It brings out Daydream very low. That's going to make Dragon a huge issue for Blaze. And S takes this chance to start the Dragon. They're looking for a fight. Marin comes in with his ultimate. He gets a stun, forces Ambition way out. And Flame also has to run away, taking so much damage. Barely lives with the shield on him, and that's a free Dragon for T1S.
Fantastic poke there from SKTS. They didn't overcommit. They continued to use the Ziggs bouncing bomb in order to get everyone pretty low. And Marin with the flank coming in, he knew he had to burst someone down because he didn't have the innate tankiness. So by catching Lustboy on the side with the stun, it made it so that that very important engage from Annie couldn't ever happen, and he couldn't get that big Tibbers right on the main core. So Marin doing a lot with that itemization in spite of falling behind kind of early into this game.
Yeah, Marin just had a great choice there. He also forced Ambition out of there with the Ignite on him, so losing both methods of initiation from Blaze. And that's an easy Dragon for S, keeps them in the slight lead in terms of gold.
Yeah, well, Flame's still going to be farming up this top lane. Marin actually surpassing him in terms of CS right now.
Caught up in levels too, so S should be happy about that, but they can't rest until pretty much the game's over, because once Flame has that Shyvana, and of course the rest of this team come from Blaze, a very, very scary team fight composition.
That's the thing, is that CJ Blaze can afford to give up these Dragons early. You know, if they fall behind 1,000 gold here, 1,000 gold there, it's not really going to matter that much. They just have to worry about dying when contesting these objectives or giving up deaths as the Dragon goes down, which they were successful at not doing. So that said, CJ Blaze does scale better into the late game. With their composition, they will be really dangerous. And late game,
Wolf does get caught in a stun. Daydream not going to chase just yet. He sees Emperor is finally here. Goes for the hit onto Wolf. Wolf is slowed. Emperor chasing with that red buff. Daydream gets the kill.
Yeah, we'll see if they can turn this into an actual objective or not. Ambition down in the bottom lane right now. Flame covering mid. Only Caitlyn there to protect the tower, and this looks like...
Oh, well, that's a nice ultimate coming in from Ziggs, but a new minion wave coming just in time for Blaze. They should be able to take the tower. Horo also going back to the mid lane. S has given up on that. They want to shove this middle lane in trade because Flame now has to go to top.
Yeah, he does. Tier 2 turret, Marin and Flame getting into a little action right there, but nobody actually committing to it. And Horo and EasyHoon will get a lot of damage on this mid lane turret.
They can definitely take it with that full wave there. A lot of damage coming out from Horo. He went for, of course, the Lizard Elder, Spirit of the Lizard Elder.
This is an amazing... Just the map movements in this game have been so good from both teams so far. You can really see how being in one place on the map is reacted to very well by another team, and how they're reanalyzing the situation as the game unfolds, as turrets go down, to change their focus, go to a different lane, try and take an objective there, and then how the other team reacts to it. And it's resulted in a really tight early game and coming into the mid game now from both teams with virtually no difference in terms of gold.
Oh, Horo has been spotted right as he entered that brush. Daydream going to chase him away from the red, should be able to take it, no problem. At least with the execution damage. Marin actually going to get caught in a 2v1. Horo's going to try to come in, Flame chases him away, and that just results in the red buff steal for Blaze.
Well, blue buff onto Horo right now. He's actually gone for Hex Drinker as his second item, so a little bit more damage potential than we see from most jungle Evelyns here in Korea, who prefer, generally speaking, to go for that a big tank item second. So considering that he's up against an AP jungler and Ambition has been farming well in the mid lane, he has a little bit to be concerned about in terms of his durability.
All right. Like you said, Monty, I was going to comment on that. You know, looking at the mid lane, we're seeing almost the same items. Of course, EasyHoon just now finishing his death cap instead of his shoes first. Ambition went for the shoes. And otherwise, even for the other counterparts, the ADs are quite similar in power right now. And of course, overall gold actually dead even at this moment.
Pretty crazy. Well, Flame coming into lane against Marin. Now Marin still holding that CS lead after being so far behind early. Flame has not been back to shop in a while, however. He's sitting on a lot of gold at the moment. Marin a little bit up in terms of items, and Horo coming in from behind. Flame's got to be careful.
Well, Flame is pushing forward. He's just waltzing with Marin, has to watch out. Flame usually very, very smart about his spidey senses, and he's going to back away. He's going to get interrupted here. Oh, no, Horo's just going to say, all right, whatever. Yep, Flame goes home uninterrupted, and he goes for the Spectre Cowl.
Well, not a lot to say. We've reached a little bit more of a passive point in the game. Nobody really willing to take any risks at this stage. And of course, Blaze, they've got no reason to take risks right there. Again, they do have that advantage in terms of scaling.
All right, Emperor going to clear out this bottom. Actually puts a ton of damage onto Bang. Wolf gets stuck with that Tibbers, but here comes the Mega Inferno Bomb. Horo finally gets stopped by Daydream and is stunned. Lustboy picks up a kill. Lustboy still in the back. Dueling Bang on his own is going to get taken out by Bang's Caitlyn. And also Horo does end up chasing through and picking up Emperor. And Dragon comes up in 25 seconds.
That was a great timing for SKTS because they're going to get Dragon right as it spawns. CJ not going to be able to contest that whatsoever. They just won't have the presence there in order to get that objective. Let's see if Bang is putting down some pink wards right now. Lustboy now back out on the field, but he won't have Tibbers, and that's going to be really difficult to work on this Dragon. And Flame trying to make something out of this. A bit dangerous. They don't have all 5 there yet.
Flame's just staying in front, trying to distract S from the Dragon, trying to buy time for Lustboy and Emperor, but Horo has been damaging Dragon throughout, and there goes the Smite. A nice clean Dragon once again for T1S.
Bit of an overextension right there, and Blaze didn't have any other pressure on the map right there. Flame was still farming relatively deep. Orianna Ambition was in the mid lane but had no backup, so they weren't able to respond after knowing where Horo was in that bottom lane anywhere else with a kill or an objective of their own, and that'll be SKTS jumping out to even more of a lead here.
Yeah, very unfortunate also for Lustboy that his Tibbers didn't hit Bang right away, so they couldn't pick up a quick kill on Caitlyn and then back out as all 3, leaving Lustboy behind to at least pick up 1 kill from all that damage they did against T1S.
Lustboy with a pretty interesting anti-build right here. Moby into Distortion Enchantment, so just trying to make sure his flashes up as frequently as possible so that he can get those flash engages. He really wants to be able to catch people out, get his rotation off, and then sacrifice himself. And he's valuing that above picking up the Talisman to speed up his entire team right now. So he's really wanting to make those picks to catch people before they can move at all, get the jump on him from a brush perhaps.
Yeah, very interesting choice, especially now with the low cooldown of Tibbers, just keeping the flash somewhat on par with that cooldown, making a new choice than what we've seen before from Lustboy. Otherwise, once again, to both teams, just kind of gauging map pressure, making rotations here. Now, would you say S is still slowly running out of time, Monty? Because we talked about this.
Yeah, they are.
There's the Inferno Bomb, not going to get the steal. Not an issue. Zig's ult, fairly low cooldown.
They haven't been able to expand their lead by much. You know, Blaze has been at least farming as well as SKTS. So they still, this Shyvana, Flame Shyvana is something to be extremely concerned about.
Yeah, he still hasn't died. I mean, he's just has a solid 0-0-0 score, just keeping up in CS. We did mention, of course, Marin has caught up and surpassed him in farm, but at this point in the game, it's no longer if you're ahead or not. It's actually just how much Shyvana has herself.
Yeah, Shyvana's doing fine here. So just, you know, get a couple more items. Nearly got both of the big tank items for armor and MR that she needs, and then you can switch up into perhaps a Blade of the Ruined King to give yourself a little bit more sustain and split push pressure in the lane, as well as pressure onto Caitlyn. Shyvana does, I talk about this all the time, but Shyvana does very well against Caitlyn, generally speaking. Really easily able to get back onto Caitlyn, and Caitlyn just can't kill Shyvana past a certain point. She doesn't have a lot of burst damage. If she doesn't have Nunu, she doesn't have any kind of attack speed steroids, so getting soloed, her advantage lies in her range, right? But if you close that with Dragon's Descent and Talisman of Ascension, then she really just can't do anything, especially when she gets hit by Blade of the Ruined King.
Exactly. Now we do see both teams just, especially T1S, being very cautious and trying to keep Blaze in, of course, Blaze's area of the map. But as you said, Monty, S needs to push out at some point and create a bigger lead by maybe taking another tower, or, you know, Dragons aren't going to cut it anymore.
Yeah, post 30 minutes, this team is going to be scary. That said, Flame has actually gone for the Warden's Mail right here, so he's going to be going pure tank.
All right, wants to beef up a bit more before going for any damage. Wants to really be able to lie in the front lines so that Ambition and Emperor can dance around the edges of the team fight.
Wow, he's cleared out 2 pink wards from that brush. Horo just put another one down there. That was a bit of an odd choice considering he saw the pink placed in there already. So a bunch of sweeping lenses going down. The nice thing about SKTS, though, is every week they look a little bit better.
They're much more systematic about their movement. I remember when they first appeared in Champions, they looked like an okay professional team, but nothing spectacular, nothing stood out from them. Whenever they won, it was by very standard methods. Now we're seeing them with a bit more specific thinking against whoever they're matched up.
I'm just so impressed that Marin got back into this game.
He was behind by a lot, man.
When we talk about top laners, Flame is usually 100 CS up on his opponent because teams, when this happens, teams are not as smart or as decisive. Oh boy.
Uh-oh, Marin comes in with his ultimate and the nice stun. There goes the Tiamat damage. Emperor not going to die as Daydream blocks a nice ace in the hole. Lustboy also going to survive with shield and a flash. Lots of abilities used on both sides. Of course, the benefit is that Blaze didn't lose anyone. Now Flame coming in at full health, but no one else is really around to help save this tower.
A lot of ults down on the side of SKTS right there, too. 3 pretty big ones used. And we're not seeing that same ult usage from CJ Blaze, so they should be able to hold on here. Lucian coming back in, has the culling to clear out the turret, but
we also have Ambition with the shockwave. Daydream jumping onto Horo right away. Needs to watch out a bit low, even with the shot. Flame comes in, and Bang is going to go down right away. This is what we like to see from Flame. A nice shockwave onto Horo to keep him back. Flame thought about chasing, but Horo does get away with a flash at the very end.
Yeah, that's what happens when Shyvana gets onto Caitlyn right there, and CJ Blaze takes that advantage. SKT, they overstayed their welcome after using all their ultimates, and CJ comes back, and just a decisive teamfight win. See if they can actually take a tower off of this. There's a lot of creeps down in bottom. Marin will go and clear that one out. And Dragon up in 1. Ambition continuing to pressure mid, but I think they can get that tower a little later on, picking it just for precautionary measures, and Flame and Ambition will take that.
Yeah, the damage done onto Bang. Of course, Flame did have some help from both Emperor and Lustboy, but man, Flame is so scary even without an offensive item right now. And Emperor, whenever he plays Lucian, always just opens up with the culling right away as Flame jumps in, getting maximum damage with that ultimate.
Yeah, this is a really big point, too. Okay, let's take a look at that again. So Daydream comes in from the side right there. Lustboy gets the stun down onto Bang, and Flame just all over him immediately. Flashes afterwards with the burnout. Emperor will chase down Wolf from the side, finishing him off with the culling. And CJ Blaze, they won't over-pursue this. They know EasyHoon can kite this very well. Instead, going for the Dragon afterwards. And now we're back within 500 gold. This game is very technical.
Such a brilliant team fight. And Flame, you can always count on him to make those plays in a team fight for Blaze. So we're back to kind of a standoff in the various lanes. Bottom, we have Flame now pushing back out towards Marin. Marin just going to wait, keep him at bay. He can push back out with that Tiamat, of course.
And everybody just so even across the board at this point. No Warden's Mail yet for Flame. Oh.
Marin going to miss the recall from Flame.
Yeah, he's going to get the Giant's Belt instead of the Warden's Mail this early. So just wanting a little bit more HP makes sense. He's got to deal with the damage coming out of Ziggs as well, and giving him a little more durability to the poke coming out of Ziggs beforehand. And he can't finish that Randuin's yet for the active, and it doesn't really matter. He can already kill that Caitlyn pretty darn efficiently. Bang takes the red buff.
And on the side of Blaze, we do have the finished Iron Solari on Daydream, at least, so a bit more sustainability for both himself and Flame.
So Lust Boy's playing the Panda Annie skin, but you just saw a bunch of pandas in China.
I did see a lot of pandas, and pandas are great, but not when they're burning pandas with fireworks in their backpacks.
You didn't see demon pandas?
No, I did not, and I'm kind of thankful about that one. Allowed me to come back and watch a virtual demon panda on Summoner's Rift. And Blaze now finally feeling confident enough to pressure down this mid. It's going to go down even with that Mega Inferno Bomb. Now Emperor very low, has to watch out. Caitlyn was a bit far though, and even with that Ace in the Hole, so many members of Blaze there to block it for him.
Just the long-range poke coming in. Of course, like you're saying, the Ace in the Hole, the Ziggs ult as well. Emperor trying desperately to heal up off these minions. SKTS putting on some Baron pressure rather. They know they chunked everybody pretty significantly on the side of CJ Blaze.
Smart play.
It is
from
really
Blaze.
Smart of S
well,
to go
yeah,
for that
both
now.
of them. I like that Blaze knew that this pressure was going to come in, so they didn't all go back at once. They sent Ambition back first and then Lustboy because Emperor can heal up on minions. He's not.
Yeah, they really could have rushed. That was a very dangerous moment. SKTS could have tried to rush or force a Baron fight right there. And CJ Blaze staggering their recalls. You're absolutely right. Really saved that situation. We're taking a look right now. Barely a gold lead for Emperor.
Looking to finish that last Whisper, that's going to give him another huge boost, and especially with only a Randuin's Omen on Marin so far, Lucian not going to be too worried about that as soon as he gets away. And he'll melt people like Wolf once that comes out.
Wolf having a little bit of trouble. He's been mispositioned this game. I mean, he's all 3 deaths so far for SKTS. Oh, looks like somebody died to a tower or something. We have 4 deaths on that team, but excuse me.
Yep, so 5 deaths on S,
yeah.
But the majority going on Wolf.
Yeah, he has been a little bit out of position, a little bit too forward with his warding. And they're trying to bait this Baron Road.
Daydream bites it, and he goes down to the Mega Inferno Bomb. Wow, pretty sure he just went from half to 0 with that last ultimate burst from Ziggs.
Now, they did use 2 ults to take him out, so
Flame also getting caught, should be able to run away should he choose to. Not going to use any ability to do that because Horo gets caught in the back, and both teams kind of split.
Trying to stall it out right now as much as they can. They still have the culling up in order to get some poke down on SKTS.
Horo is low, so nice targeting by Blaze to pick off Horo. Kind of crucial when doing a Baron, of course, any jungler. Now, they haven't started Baron. They're waiting for the bait. Oh, and Marin goes for the flash. He's not going to get the stun just yet, and he has to run away. Lustboy, very good reaction time with his flash away. That means he can't flash in for the Tibbers, but I think Blaze is happy with that. And Flame actually just going to chase down Horo. Flame isn't happy about how this turned out, gets the kill, and now Blaze is coming back to turn this fight around. Flame should be able to get out. There's the shield from Command Protect. Ambition saving his teammate, and Emperor chasing away the rest of T1S.
This is why Flame is one of the best top laners. Not many players would be able to know their limits that well to go pick off the jungler and then come right back. CJ Blaze has swung this Baron into their advantage right now. Emperor pushing up, Marin getting low.
Wow, that's the damage coming out with that last Whisper. Ambition needs to watch out a little bit. Whoa, 16 health. I didn't think the bouncing bomb was going to hit, but right at the edge. So easier chasing him away.
Very back and forth play
Wolf
here around
needs
the
to
Baron.
watch out.
Each team playing this extremely well, looking at the advantages they have. Of course, Daydream checking that brush, but then Blaze coming around and actually delaying that Baron. SKTS not confident that they could do it with so many ultimates down. They had 3 ults down.
They used so much.
So they tried to bait it.
And Flame, just what a monster. He has 2 kills now, still no deaths, does finish the Warden's mail. So at this point, Caitlyn really has no answer if she gets caught against this Dragon Lady, who's incidentally taking Dragon for CJ Entus Blaze.
She's a Dragon murderer.
A betrayer of her own race.
It's just like Warwick killing wolves. It's so sad.
That is sad. Oh, they do get the Dragon. Oh, and T1S is actually going to jump forward. Marin once again with the forward stun. And Emperor gets caught in between everyone. Still gets the kill, trying to survive with that lifesteal. He's running away. There's the calling his teammates coming in to save him. Marin gets stunned. Horo finally going to take down that Lucian. And Marin and Horo need to run away while Flame has been chasing around Poor Caitlyn, who has no answer to that dragon.
Yeah, he actually turned on Wolf right there pretty quickly as well. He did a good job of zoning out the back line in order to turn that into an even fight. It looked like SKTS had a great engage, but the tankiness of some of these members, even through that 3-man Zyra ultimate, just a bit too much to handle, and CJ Blaze showing how they're kind of outscaling here as we move into the late game, 36 minutes. And even that 3-man catch really isn't enough for SKTS to win a team fight decisively.
Yeah, and Emperor was caught right up to never. Marin going to get caught with the Shockwave. Ambition knows he has more damage. There's the last auto attack with that passive. The AP scaling is going to give Ambition finally a kill on the board. 1-0-1. Blaze slowly widening the gap.
Yeah, this Clockwork Windup, you really can't underestimate that ability.
Oh,
Her
no.
autos do a lot in the late game.
Very scary. A lot of people forget, you know, when you see an AP mage, you're like, oh, well, once their cycle is down, not much to worry about. Not with Orianna, man. All right, so Renekton down for 28 seconds. Of course, the Blaze not in position yet for a Baron play, but seeing S ping that, they want to make sure they have better vision, so gonna put down a green ward there along with the pink. Oh, Lustboy goes for the stun out to Easyun. Easyun does get caught by Flame. Stun goes down, but going to go down with the last Q flying over the wall from Lustboy. Another Shockwave to pick up the kill against Wolf. And Blaze now has 3 members down against S. Marin now coming up, and Baron just sitting. Baron's always the winner of all games. And now Blaze going to focus it down. Emperor jumps over the wall. Ambition is going to stay over the wall to keep people zoned. They want to get eyes on if Poro comes by, or even Caitlyn for a possible steal. S not even going to take that risk. They said, all right, well, we got caught. Baron goes to Blaze, and now a surefire lead for CJ Entus Blaze. Horo also taking a lot of damage. Dissonance not up again for Ambition. Barely lives with 22 health.
Wow, just fantastic play from Blaze right here, especially Lustboy's Annie. He's so good at creating those picks. He's so decisive,
yes.
And his team follows up so well off of them too. That's why we see him picking up these early distortion enchantments. He wants to have that flash up as much as possible, and that's also why you ban Annie and not Anivia.
Yeah, that's really what it all comes down to. If S loses this game, I think we know the cause. Now, also just poor positioning from S. Let's look at that again. Lustboy, he sees him in the ward and just jumps forward. 1-man Tibbers, he's okay with that. He knows his team can get the kill. The Cocoon following after also keeps Easy and locked down enough for a cycle on Lustboy's abilities to pick up that kill. And here's the Shockwave coming in for Ambition. Forces a flash away from Bang, but Wolf doesn't have any skills up to run away. Yep, that's everyone's reaction on those plays. Especially Easy, I'm sure.
Yeah, a lot of pink wards going down from CJ Blaze into the topside jungle. And look at this, Lustboy's wrapping around behind Marin. They're not going to make a play on him, turns out. He's going to push the lanes, play it a little more cautiously. Flame shoving up in mid. He's got his Rando and Zoman finally.
Daydream has chosen to go for the Banshees. Make sure he can stick forward for a bit longer rather than the Spirit Visage, which was kind of the go-to MR item for a long time. Of course, some changes made there. Easy even taking a lot of damage in this duel, so he's going to have to watch out, use his range to his advantage. And Flame and Daydream coming in from the back to keep T1S pressured here as the rest of their teammates push up the lane.
Flame.
What a monster, Flame.
Yeah, well, this Renekton just can't stop the split push from Shyvana anymore, doing far too much damage and just being innately tankier with that passive as well. Flame now rejoining his team, getting a few hits down. Emperor onto the turret. They got to be a little bit careful, but Command Protect makes things slightly easier for them on these sieges.
Yep, Dissonance, of course, also helping with the fighting in and out. Flame's okay with taking a lot of damage. He still has that Baron buff along with his teammates. There's the Protect once again, mitigating some of that. And Blaze is just going to keep poking at this tower while Daydream and Flame take turns pushing up mid. There's the culling to keep some people zoned. Not too much damage on Tamarin, but of course S doesn't have Baron buff, so if they get lower, they have to run all the way back home.
There we go, just clearing out the Zyra plant. This should be it. There it goes.
Yep, tower goes down and T1S. Oh no, Wolf gets caught. There's the Flash Timbers onto Bang. A bit of a missed target, but Annie goes down as Easyun comes through. Still Baron buff for CJ Entus plays. Now Emperor should be able to get some damage as he keeps kiting away. Flame still in front of him to protect. A brilliant shockwave against two members of T1S. Horo barely leaves with a sliver of health, and Daydream now going to run away with the help of Ambition.
Yeah, they can go back after that, trading 1-for-1 right there. You'll take the top laner for the support, and you've got the Naked Inhibitor as well. You still have that Baron buff on you. Make another push, and there is a large minion wave that has developed up in that top lane. Blue buff will be grabbed over by CJ Blaze as well.
The Wolf rushing to clear that out with Bang. And CJ Blaze also waiting for the Dragon, so taking advantage of all the objectives they can. There's Ambition on your screen with a nice yawn. It's like, you know, everyday life, putting down shockwaves. Let's look at a replay of that fight.
Yeah, coming in here, you can see Flame already chunked a little bit. Daydream doesn't actually have a lot of mana either, which is problematic. They overextend slightly right here, especially Ambition, actually, who gets caught on top of the Stranglethorns. Flame has to turn around. He got chunked out from the zone. So a little bit of an overextension inside the base there from CJ Blaze. They could have played it slightly more conservatively, but the saving of the shockwave till the end of that fight allowed them not to be cleaned up by SKTS.
And you talked about this last time too, Monty, how these days it just seems smarter to save that shockwave for surefire kills.
Unless you're making a pick with it, but using it at the beginning of fights is almost, unless you get a perfect grouping, almost never valuable, because you want people to commit and then be surprised by the CC that you have once they're fully committed to an engage. No. Especially when you have Annie and you don't need to engage with it because of flash tippers. So.
Of course, Lustboy helping a lot in that regard. He tends to do this at least once per game, though. He overextends a little bit and goes for a target on his own. Gets very excited about his burst with that base damage on Annie. Flame gonna block that and barely flinches against Ace in the hole. Bang does have an elixir popped. Knows he needs just any damage he can get right now to help block the pressure from CJ Entus Blaze.
It is a bit surprising that they're going for this tower right here instead of the Naked Inhibitor, although their Baron buff is down. Baron buff up in a 140. Marin.
Marin walks right into three members of Blaze. Does have to pop his ultimate, so that's down.
Yeah, that's huge. He's also down below 50% HP as well. So this could prompt a dive from CJ Blaze. They don't have a tank anymore. SKTS has to be very careful.
Daydream keeping Marin right here. A shockwave onto Wolf. He goes down to the culling, and then Emperor dashes right back out. Marin now getting caught. Flame jumps all the way through. Hits three members with his ultimate. Look at all that low health on T1S. Blaze trying to chase through. They don't want to overextend. There's the protect to back out. And three members of T1S have to walk all the way home to heal up.
That kill on Wolf was so well coordinated from Blaze.
Wow.
They hit him from multiple angles with multiple ults right there to make sure he couldn't get a Stranglethorns off to defend the turret. They take tier 2 down. They're up a couple towers now in 7K gold, and they're in a good spot to take the second Baron of this game.
It's like we've gone back a year in time, Monty, and we're looking at Blaze in Champions Winter of 2012 and 2013.
Flame is a monster. He has Thornmail and a Cutlass now as well. Scary stuff.
Very scary. The minions just dying to their own damage with that Thornmail.
A little bit of posturing around the pit. Flame has to be careful here. He needs to start moving up there, and he will indeed do that. Not even taking the full minion wave. He is going to allow that to slow push into the inhibitor right there. Here we go. So Flame will be up there in the nick of time for
Emperor. Getting very aggressive against Bang. He gets caught by Horo. Is going to live with Barrier, and here comes Flame. That's going to chase everyone out. Oh, Wolf still goes for the kill. And Ziggs comes in. Emperor got a bit too antsy there. A little overconfident. Flame barely going to live as Daydream now goes in a bit late. No, Flame also goes down. Blaze is filing in one by one to the poke parade of T1S.
Not a good engage right there, but Horo getting a flank on the overextended Emperor. He does have some issues with overextending and overaggression at times. He likes to get a little crazy and not really respecting the Evelynn there. He does it a lot less in lane now than he used to, but you can still see those tendencies coming out sometime. He thought he had that edge on Bang. He did, but that kind of forced his team to pile in one by one there as well, and Flame now gone. Might make this contest pretty darn difficult.
Yep. Daydream doing what he can to keep T1S at bay because of that Banshee's Veil, so he feels safe standing a bit further ahead to clear wards and keep vision.
Yeah, without an AD carry, though, neither of these teams can do the Baron quickly, and so they're not going to choose to do it at all. They just want to get the vision up there, maybe see if they can catch somebody out.
Yep. Ambition also with a Banshee's Veil. They know there's so much burst here on T1S, especially with things like Mega Inferno Bomb. Of course, Evelyn can jump in with that ultimate.
Well, also the Zhonya's Hourglass. So the survivability on Ambition right now is fantastic. If SKTS tries to target him in a team fight, they will likely lose just because you can't use your cooldowns on this Orianna. So he should be pretty uninhibited when it comes to team fighting. In fact, they may try and bait with him a little bit in team fights if they can.
Flame is still at the white. Ambition going to go back home. So both teams are still keeping eyes on Baron. No one confident enough to jump in just yet. Wolf trying to damage Daydream by aggroing Baron. And he's just going to back out.
Yep. It's a very delicate dance right now. SKTS can definitely still win this game if they get the right engage, but it will be hard just because of the scaling here from Blaze. Ambition taking a blue buff.
Yeah, it's very scary for either team right now. You know, cooldowns are getting longer, so another crazy overextension from Blaze, and that could lose the lead for them and maybe even the game, depending on timing here. Both teams still just dancing back and forth between Baron and another lane, keeping eyes on that objective.
Yeah, Lustboy's flash is up. This is really the key as to how this flash is going to be used right here.
Talisman also off cooldown, so lots of initiation power coming in from Blaze. Now S also has their Talisman available from Wolf, and of course things like Stranglethorns also. Oh, there's the Talisman from Blaze. They missed the window on that flank, and Marin gonna jump away from that Cocoon.
SKT1S doing the right thing though, shoving down the mid lane, making it difficult and stringing out CJ Blaze so that they can't actually take advantage of it right there. They know CJ Blaze wants to keep that vision control, and how you can break that and force people into like a possible pick position, and that is a large minion wave.
Yeah, and starting to build up that bottom too, so now Blaze is ready to force T1S to make a call. Wow. Well, there's Ziggs for you. Oh, Blaze taking this time to bait. Oh, nice. A nice lens coming in from Horo. Spot that ward and the entire team of Blaze. So top lane is safe now for T1S. Bottom is pushing up though against the naked inhibitor.
And it started. They're forcing this.
Yep. Flame is hiding behind Baron. He's waiting to jump over the wall for an initiation.
He wants
There's
to get on
Talisman.
Caitlyn.
Flame is chasing away Bang. They did have to stop Baron. This fight is split, but there goes Flame onto Bang, and a Randuin's Omen active onto 4 members.
Flame.
Wow, with Flame down and Ace Lil going up against Lustboy, Blaze in a very dangerous situation. Flame melted a lot quicker than I expected, I assume.
Well, they didn't get a chance to use any of their CC right there. You see Shockwave is up. You see that Tivers is still up as well. So without that CC on the core, Flame got too far back right there. CJ Blaze playing a dangerous game right now. They don't know whether they're going to try and rush down mid. They finally see them at Baron. However, they're all still there. I don't think that SKTS knows this.
Yeah, I think they feel a bit too safe. There's the Tivers onto 2 members of T1S. Shockwave's still up. Bang has to flash away. He also gets the Crucible used on Ambition, dodges the damage with Zhonya's. Oro still sticking onto Ambition, trying to live with Command Protect. Not going to happen. Emperor putting down as much damage as he can, has to dash away. The last crit from Bang, almost killing. Is trying to take him down with the calling, flashes away, gets the kill on Marin as he jumps into the brush. Emperor finally goes down to a bouncing bomb. There's the Cocoon. Daydream running away as fast as possible, but this has delayed the Baron against T1S.
5 seconds though, look at that wave. It's been slow pushing into the top lane. Inhibitor down now, definitely for SKT1S, so that delay bought them an inhibitor as well. Can they take this Baron? Flame is running out of the base right now. He is a late game Shyvana. He can deal with this if he needs to.
They're going to get the Baron. Also, Ace and Lone and Lustboy needs to watch out here. Easyun's very scary.
The caster minions.
No, oh, there's the stun onto the caster minions. He's trying to live with his shield. He dodges the bouncing bomb and eventually goes down to the satchel charge. And I've never seen a crowd happier about a satchel charge kill against the support. They just went wild right now.
Okay, Flame is taking the Dragon in response. Now remember, CJ Blaze still does have the edge, the inhibitor down on their side. This is a hell of a game of League of Legends.
Man, just let's look at this extended fight. Now there is the double stun. Of course, Easyun lives with the Banshee's Veil. They chase away Lustboy. And Marin comes back in for a stun onto Ambition.
Ambition, yeah, just going ahead of Zhonya is the ultimate there from Easyhoon. But Easyhoon's autos with that Lichbane on Ziggs are doing so much damage in combination with his passive right now as well. Kiting outwards, gets the culling down. Look at that flash during the culling, and then he chains it right into his passive for the double shot.
Just great timing to dodge away from Marin.
But all in all, we look at that, and it really, neither team got a substantial advantage right there because that slow push minion wave did take out the inhibitor. That was an incredibly good call from CJ Blaze. And this is a team that has relied on their minion wave control to get advantages traditionally. We saw that with the freeze in the early game, and they're also well known for creating these slow push situations in side lanes and using that to their advantage later on. Drawing the other team into a contest on the other side of the map and then just waiting it out for objectives to be taken from the minions, and that's what we saw there.
Yeah, so like you said, Monty, I wanted to mention that Lichbane on Easyun doing so much damage, and the only MR on Flame right now is that Spirit Visage. Of course, he has a lot of health and the passive defense buffs because he is Shyvana. And wow, a 4-man Banshee's Veil on the side of Blaze. They really don't want to deal with those huge bursts or even the AoE CC coming in.
It's the poke, really, that they want to get rid of from Easyhoon right here. And if you don't need extra CDR, because of the changes to Spirit Visage, Banshee's Veil is just a much more efficient item right now. And most of these champions not going to need that cooldown reduction. Of course, Lustboy already maxed out, well, close to it at the very least.
Yep, and Flame going to be the only one with a Spirit Visage. Of course, he benefits a lot from not only the cooldown, but the healing buff as he tries to stick onto Caitlyn. But he hasn't had a chance to really take on Bang 1v1 anymore. T1S has been very smart about congregating around their AD carry to make sure Flame doesn't get an easy pickoff in a team fight.
Yeah, I mean, 550 AP on Ziggs right now. Pretty scary stuff when combined with that Lichbane. You can see he's doing an additional 227 magic damage with his auto attacks at the moment. Just from his AP on his passive, and that doesn't count the Lichbane as well. So
that's a lot of damage from just a Q and an auto attack.
Yeah, 160 plus 227 is huge. Huge damage with the Lichbane.
Lichbane is 487 plus 50, so he's doing like 800 damage with just an auto attack. Wow. That might be his strongest skill right now with that Lichbane.
Yeah, it's got to be close.
So Blaze grouping up in mid. S does have that Baron buff.
Not for much longer, however, so that's going to be expiring soon. They weren't able to take advantage of it. They have waited out their inhibitor, though, so they do have a small window to do something here.
Flame has that Blade of the Ruined King, should be more confident about sticking to his target, namely Caitlyn. And, oh, Flame looking for a flank. Now we have those Banshee's Veils on both Bang and Easyun too, and that's going to help them get away from the Flash Tibbers.
They don't know where Horo is right now. They've got to be a little bit worried about that. Both teams just angling for a position right now. Ambition's Banshee's Veil doing work, but they're not going to find the angle they want. And in fact, they're going to have to recall after this. SKTS moving down mid a little bit too quickly for them. And
whoa, look at that tower go down to both Caitlyn and Easyhoon.
Shyvana's behind.
Shyvana does get stopped with the minefield and Wolf's zoning, so they do take the inhibitor turret. Cocoon not going to hit. Nice traps and plants all around from T1S to make sure they don't get surprised by either Flame or Daydream.
Really good traps and mines, as you're saying. They know that that flank could easily be the death of them. And Flame, and especially if you're playing against Blaze too. Blaze, a team that prefers to attack in flank formations generally.
Yep,
and they will open up an inhibitor right there. 150 till the next Baron.
Such a dicey situation, Monty. Both teams being so cautious. T1S has gained a lot of confidence, though, in that mid game. They started falling behind, and Blaze, with a couple mishaps, you know, the overextensions we saw earlier, gave T1S a window to catch up. Marin is actually now the one preparing. There's the calling to open up the fight. Bang is a bit low, but Marin coming in from behind. Blaze is now the one getting flanked. Marin a bit too far, though, so both teams just dancing back and forth. Everyone's been revealed. Neither team wanting to lose their Banshee's Veil to simple poke.
Wow, this is really crazy. Everybody's staying pretty far spread apart, but moving really as a unit, because if anybody gets picked off on the edges here, could be disaster. So they're responding to each other's movements very well while not staying bunched up for the AoE that could come in, both teams.
Yep, Blaze now splitting up. Ambition's now going to the top. They know how big of a wave that can be if they let it go to the second tier.
Could be dangerous. This could be an inhibitor, actually. SKTS not going to rush it.
Yep, Flame also recalling right away. So it's a nice clear in the top lane. Bottom lane also pushing up. We saw the ping go down for Blaze right now. They know they need to take care of that at some point, but Baron is going to come up in 20 seconds. So some choices, some hard choices to be made by Blaze.
Going to lose their blue buff right here. Bit unfortunate for Blaze and Ambition. And they're being very cautious. They've lost that vision control right there. Lots of lenses going down. Large minion wave in the bottom, but
usually you see that minion wave going in favor of Blaze, but right now it's Blaze that's being pressured. Now they do see members of T1S. Banshee's Veil off of Bang for a little bit. Neither team starting Baron. This fight really determines the game right now. Both teams have an open inhibitor, so you lose 3 or more members and the game's over for you, you could say. Those long death timers.
This fight is going to be apocalyptic.
It really is. Just the scale of damage and abilities we're going to see and the consequences each team will have to face. Emperor going to make the choice to now push forward against this middle as that bottom lane is pushing against Blaze. This is a risky choice by CJ and just Blaze. T1S is going to start the Baron. They know that's the call they need to make at this point.
Emperor's coming back now.
All right, there's the Talisman. Baron's really low. Can they get a steal? They do get the stun out to Horo. Horo does get shockwaved, but Baron is still alive. Horo eventually takes the Baron for his team. Now Emperor is still full health, comes in with the Cully. Marin does go down, each team losing 1 member each. Baron's still on T1S. We see Daydream also go down, and T1S now rushing towards Blaze's base. They need to recall.
They have a lot of minion waves at both top and bottom right now that have to be cleared out. There are many options for SKT T1S.
A minute on the clock for Daydream, almost a minute for Lustboy. Now they don't have Marin to jump forward.
That's the problem, is they don't have a tank right now, and there's still, you know, enough CC from Blaze. They may be able to do something. Flame really needs to get his ult back up, though. Yes, waiting a little bit on that one. And I don't think they're going to be able to actually convert this into any more towers, Chobra.
Well, that's fortunate for Blaze, of course. Just giving Baron buff to the opponent. You can wait it out at the very least. They're doing everything. Wow, look at that inhibitor get chunked with the Lich Bane from
10 seconds to Lustboy. And he's going to come back with Tibbers.
All right. Oh, there's a shockwave onto Bang. Bang barely lives. Now Flame trying to chase forward his ult, just coming back. Can't get the kill onto Bang. So close, but at least they saved the inhibitor.
Wow, this game is amazing.
This is just the scale of how big this game has turned into. We are at an hour now into just the first set of the Masters match between SKT T1 and CJ Entus. A full hour, 15 kills each. They're tied at towers. It's really the battle of titans right now.
I'm just impressed at how good SKTS has gotten to be able, you know, to go toe-to-toe with a veteran team like Blaze, who has so much experience in the late game. Ultra late game is very hard to play out because you just don't get that much experience playing with it. So typically you see teams that have been around longer winning these confrontations, but S really holding in there, hanging in there, and making good decisions in the late game.
Yeah, they've pulled through very well. They were behind for quite a bit. And of course, Blaze had a minor overextension, but that really wasn't it. It was the decisions around the Baron and also how they kept dancing around in that mid lane earlier from T1S. They're basically mimicking what Blaze does best.
I love the upgraded Scrying Orb onto Lustboy right now, too, because in this situation where everybody has these upgraded Oracle's lenses or is throwing down a lot of pinks, etc., etc., you know, you really, and you're reaching that 6-item build as well, you need to be able to scout forward. And when you upgrade it, you have pretty good distance on that, and you'll be able to see people for multiple seconds at a time. It prevents a lot of really dangerous face-checking situations. I think Orb is the best trinket to have in the ultra late game.
No, well, we'll see it in action, I'm sure, very shortly as he just switched it out. And of course, if anyone's going to want early vision, it's going to be Lustboy to flash forward with his Bear Tibbers.
Right. That could actually, I mean, that's a factor here that could, in fact, win them the game, is having this orb and getting that vision knowledge, because vision dwindles the later we get into the game, and the fewer slots there are for wards and inventories.
Ace and Noah being blocked by Flame, so that's down for a little bit. Although at this point, that's not the main source of damage for Caitlyn's anyway. Daydream's Banshee goes down to the mines. Now it's T1S pressuring. They do still have that Baron buff for a little longer.
This is one of those matchups that never seems to disappoint. If we look at the Champions games from last season between Blaze and S, they were just really good games.
Yeah,
there's the orb.
That's going to chase away Easy Hoon. And both talismans being used. Oh, Lustboy goes for the stun onto Wolf.
There's no follow-up, though.
No follow. Emperor gets caught by Mar, and they need to protect Emperor. Nice shockwave to keep Horo at bay, but Emperor's still getting chased down by 2 members, and Flame has to run away with his ultimate to help Emperor. He's actually going to turn back around, and they're actually going to get the kill out to Horo. Nice flanking coming in from Flame for Blaze, and the rest of the teammates helping keep Emperor alive. He's now lifestealing on that blue, but picks up the buff for that extra cooldown. Nice damage coming in for Ambition across the wall, and T1S has to stop the chase.
Bang still looking for something right here. They're all low. Ambition is going to recall, but can they defend this inhibitor right here? It's just Lustboy and some chunk members. Bang and Wolf going out of Easy, who not here with the Lich Bane. Ambition will rejoin them.
All right, Ambition with that Banshee though. Ambition is in front of the mines, but he feels safe enough. He knows that Marin's pretty low. Marin has a Guardian's Angel, but doesn't want to get popped in a silly 1v1.
And that's how, when they saw, that's how you use the orb. That is why it is so good in the late game. Because if you can check and see that your enemy is split up like that and make that decisive shot call, I mean, they didn't close the game on this, but they did end the pressure. They are pushing back out across the map now.
Yeah, very good choice. Like you said, Monty, no follow-up on the Wolf stun, but as soon as Emperor got caught, Flame using his ultimate to run away from the harassment of Wolf and Easy Hoon to join his teammates.
Easy Hoon has 6,000 gold in the bank right now that he can't spend. I mean, this game, we're approaching 200,000 gold.
Wow. Over an hour now. Everyone at 6 items.
So they're trying to set up a pick right here. They've got total vision control over the red side jungle with a minute left onto Baron. This is a really dangerous situation for SKTS. I don't know.
All right, Blaze just gonna power through against this inhibitor turret at top. It's already at half health. Flame's still sticking to it. Has to run away because of the plants. They don't want to get caught.
Okay, they can just go back into the jungle. They need to make sure that no wards go down if they want to win this. Marin a little bit ahead, but SKT1S rightly just terrified of that jungle situation. 40 seconds till Baron right now. Blaze doing a really good job of protecting their wards while simultaneously applying turret pressure.
Yeah, Blaze keeping this middle lane at bay.
They disengaged so badly.
Can you feel it, Monty? You
feel
the tension?
I love this game.
T1S, they know they lost their momentum in that earlier fight, losing Just one member, but oh, there's a speed up from Ambition, and that draws out the Talisman.
That's huge. Huge at this point.
Yep, dissonance for Talisman any day. And S now trying to push back. They do have very good wave clear with that Zig, so we've been seeing pings against this middle
SKTS,
inhibitor.
they don't have vision. They're not going to get vision. They need to just rush mid. This is exactly the right call.
Yep, they've been pinging that, and now they've made their choice. Blaze has to close in. I think all right, they do get vision on all 5. They know they're just going to keep grouping up and going towards. Now the inhibitor should go down very quickly, but can T1S get out of this? They're caught between a scary Blaze and 2 Nexus turrets. Oh, there's a stun onto Bang, and Flame jumps in. Culling coming through. Bang does get Shockwave. Bang still living barely as Daedream tries to chase through. Eventually gets the kill onto the AD carry of T1S. He's down for 70 seconds, but they lose both frontliners of Blaze. Can Blaze come back and help Emperor put out damage? Now Marin also slow. Lustboy with a nice stun. Wolf gets melted with the burst of Ambition and Emperor. And Blaze saves their base once again.
This is one of the best games I've ever seen.
Wow, I am just blown away, Monty.
Just because this isn't a throw. This is like, there haven't been a lot of mistakes in this game. It's been each team so accurately taking advantage of every little thing and making the right decision in that circumstance. You know, T1S was afraid of going into their jungle, was afraid of contesting Baron, so they go for that naked inhibitor instead. At that point, you know, CJ Blaze has them pinned in the base. They have that opportunity. Let's take a look at this one again.
Nice cocoon on
really good cocoon. So Flame will jump on him with Dragon's Descent immediately. Culling coming in alongside Shockwave. Could have hit a few more members. Daedream and Flame will take him out, however. Repel isn't enough to save Daedream right here, nor is it enough to save Flame. They go deep under the turrets. However, Marin was zoned out of this fight. I guess we're not going to see the rest of that replay.
And that fan has been holding that sign for Flame a long time now, over an hour, cheering for his favorite player, saying, Flame, have a good flight. Of course, Flame known as the pilot for CJ Entus Blaze.
He switched out to a Warmogs from his Sunfire cape. So just going for the pure HP at this point.
Yep, also switched to a Banshee's Veil and trade of that Spirit Visage. So just surviving more damage initially now for Flame. You know, he's realized that, I think, it's not Bang anymore that he's worried about. It's the burst coming in from EasyHoon. The Spirit Visage not going to do much if you lose, 1,000 health at once.
You know, I don't know actually about this this lock-in onto Daedream anymore. If Daedream may be more beneficial with the Rylai's for the additional CC.
Well, we'll see if he switches out that fan, by the way. Needs to go to the bathroom. The players aren't helping him. It's really hard to get out of the stadium right now. It's so packed. All right, near an hour and 10 minutes. Flame caught a little bit behind, not taking too much damage from the bouncing bomb. The Warmogs really helping him out at this point. So Blaze just going to wait out this inhibitor, and Monty, this is just like a perfectly choreographed dance between these two teams. It's so amazing.
It is really interesting to watch. And we've only had 35 kills in nearly 70 minutes of play, but it hasn't been the kills that have been keeping this game exciting. It's been the nail-biting map pressure.
All right, there is a ward there. The Mega Inferno Bomb helping out Blaze. Horo's looking for the steal. Daedream, Horo gets the steal on the Baron, and now T1S pushes forward. Ambition has to try to survive with a sliver of health with his Zonia's. Bang, not able to get zoned. Flame eventually goes down. Is this the game against CJ Entus Blaze? It's just the bottom duo left alive, with Daedream now going to go down shortly as Emperor tries to fight off this monster of an alligator. Marin chasing through, just 2 people left alone on Blaze, but it's all 5 members of T1S. You see Horo knows he won the game with that steal, and this is what happened in their first Masters match. T1S won the game with a Baron steal. Now there's only 2 towers between S and the Nexus. I don't know if these two can survive 40 seconds, Monty.
No, they certainly can't. SKTS, that huge Baron steal coming in, a little bit greedy from Blaze to try and take that Baron right there. They are the ones who make the mistake. They are the ones who crack first.
All right, Marin is not going to go down. Emperor has to run away. And there's the Nexus exposed as T1S wins this over an hour game against CJ Entus Blaze. Look at the release.